Hey everybody, it's Trevor Turnbull from Sport Fan Connect here at Capitol Hill in Washington, DC. And I'm sitting here with Roberto and Judy Coquise, as well as little Sophia. They just got done their tour of 30 ballparks over 90 days, right? Yeah, the last game was last night in Baltimore, actually. We met them at the Orioles game. And of course, we were running our Capitals Fan Connect contest and chatted with them a little bit about their experience. The story that you guys had was obviously amazing and something that ties in directly with what we were trying to do with our whole contest, which is to prove how social media and sports and fans all connect using tools online, as well as everything else that you guys went through your whole experience. So let's maybe just go through a little recap again of your trip and how it all started, and leading right up to last night's game.
Well, the way it started was very simple. We were on our way to Indiana for a potential job interview. We had both gotten laid off at the beginning of the year. And on our way to Indiana, we made a few stops at different ballparks because Roberto is a huge baseball fan.
Right.
So of course you have to sneak in the ballparks. And after the interview in Indiana was done, it turns out it didn't work out, so we weren't going to move to Indiana. And since we were already in the area, there were a couple more ballparks to see, and Roberto said, you know what, let's just take a break, let's take time to see what our next move is. Why don't we visit all 30 Major League ballparks?
That's cool.
And of course, as a woman with a baby, you're saying, oh my goodness, this is going to be a challenge. But it's been a complete blessing for our family.
Yeah. And I know you guys mentioned this to us last night too, but over those 90 days, you actually made a ton of friends along the way, and were able to stay with people and met a number of people through social media as well, like through your Twitter and Facebook accounts. What were those numbers exactly? You spent how many nights in a hotel?
We spent 19 nights in hotels, and we stayed with 19 different friends and family throughout the 90 days that we were traveling to hit all the Major League ballparks. And along the way, we made approximately over 300 friends on Twitter and over 300 friends on Facebook, and we just keep accumulating friends as we go along.
And one more after last night with you guys.
Yeah, no, that was great. One thing I wanted to ask you guys about is your website. So the website is 30ballparksandababy.com, correct?
Yes.
And how did you guys set that all up? So what did you guys use for tools online to be able to be able to do this while you were on the road and as efficiently as possible?
Yeah, I mean we're not web professionals. We used a site builder. We used GoDaddy.com, and for me, obviously it took a little bit of learning, really quick learning. Just started posting our stuff, easy enough. Use that website to promote our Facebook accounts, Roberto, and our Twitter accounts, which is Roberto's area too.
Yeah, his new passion.
His new passion. He tweets pretty much every day, a couple times.
Yeah.
The one thing that we found was that it was easier to upload pictures using Facebook rather than the web page, and that's why we use Facebook for our pictures.
And you connect through your web page. You connect to Facebook, and so now you're doing a little bit of cross promotion.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to upload our pictures while we were on the road through our iPhone onto our Facebook, our fan book, or our fan Facebook page, just because we hadn't set up a specific master account. We wanted to keep it more generic. But once we had set up the account, we decided to just deal with the nuances and just keep on going.
The biggest challenge was trying to find Wi-Fi, to load up our new stories and load up our new pictures after each visit.
Yeah. So every night, whether you had, whenever you could find Wi-Fi access, then you were going on there and posting summaries of your daily events and accessing your Facebook page. So the photo gallery itself then was just linked to from your website to your Facebook fan page?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Exactly right. We had an entire page on our website dedicated to our photos. It's called our photo scrapbook. And then from there, it linked directly to the photo album on Facebook.
Great.
Okay.
So one of the other things I was going to talk to you guys about is kind of the experience that we went through last night as well, which was, we used our Tweety Twitter application on our iPhone to be able to search for other people that were talking about the Orioles in the ballpark, and we just happened to come across yours. That was basically how we connected with you last night. And you said that you started using Twitter just prior to the trip, or were you using it a little bit before?
We pretty much started at the very beginning. We didn't know how it was going to work out for us. We didn't know if it was going to work out. And sometimes you just don't know if it's working for you or not. You know, it really depends on the feedback that you get from others. And at the beginning, we weren't getting a lot of feedback until we sent out a picture and had connected with MLB. And MLB started to retweet us, which was kind of cool for us. You know, hey, we're just normal people, and here's MLB who's retweeting our tweets, which is really neat. We ended up catching some steam with Twitter and accumulating friends along the way, and you know, eventually we started getting retweeted and started getting direct messages and people really connecting with us, which was kind of neat. We use Twitter phone. I started using Tweety, and I wasn't quite excited about it, especially when they had their meltdown a few months ago, and I went on to Twitter phone and have been using Twitter phone since then. But it's been pretty neat being able to connect with friends and having those friends recognize us on the road. We've had several experiences where our Twitter friends have actually come up to us and go, "Is that Sophia?" And at first it was like, "Oh, you know, yeah, who are you?" And they're like, we're a Twitter friend. We've been following your journey." And at that point, you really get the sense of, wow, you know, we've got some sort of message out there, and people are connecting to the tour.
Yeah. So how many ballparks would you say you ended up connecting with people through Twitter?
Probably about 5 or 6.
5 or 6. Yeah. And what would you say was your kind of strategy, I guess, around using Twitter? What did you guys try to do? Did you try to post regular photos, or did you just get game updates?
Well, Roberto is the expert on Twitter, but I think just like any social media, you have to be interesting. Your tweets have to be interesting, quick, clear, to the point. If you provide pictures, even better, because it takes your Twitter fans right to where you are and what you're doing. Roberto likes to use this locator feature where it's kind of latitude, longitude, and it gives people where you are. So just little creative things like that make it really interesting for people to follow you.
So you say the latitude, longitude feature is kind of pinpointing where you are?
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
I think the reason we started also using Twitter was we didn't want to be abusive Facebook users. We didn't want to Facebook every single movement we were having, but I think Twitter allows you to echo everything you're doing in a shortcut kind of way. And for that reason, we didn't connect our Twitter to our Facebook, and we use them separately as we do the web page. You know, different targets, different messages for all 3 programs.
But still interesting to our followers.
For sure. So now that the trip's all wrapped up, you guys did the 30 ballparks in 90 days. What kind of future plans do you have? What do you guys plan on doing with the website? You know, you mentioned last night that you have an auction coming up.
Yep. Well, first of all, we're glad to be home.
Yeah.
So our first thing is get our home life back together, right? And get the baby used to the home again, and just get her on a routine. But aside from that, we're planning on keeping momentum on the website and our ventures. We have been able to collect items from the Major League Baseball teams, which have been fantastic. Just different baseball items, some of them autographed, just really good stuff. And we are going to be auctioning it off in an online auction and event here in Washington, D.C., October 28th, 2009, which also happens to be the first day of the World Series. So all of that, all the proceeds collected will go to charity, a charity that we have yet to determine, but we're in the process of talking to a couple. So we're in the process of actually choosing the charity, and all the charities benefit girls' youth sports and education.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
And the auction itself, so it begins on the 28th. Does it run for a certain time period, or is it just that day?
It will run for a few days. We have not figured out exactly how long it's going to run for yet.
Hopefully till the end of the series.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to you for an update on that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. We'd love that.